Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beeman of BLS here, and welcome to part 2 of how to create a scenario for the Spa Valley Railway route, which has recently been released by us here at British Locomotive Studios. So, if you hadn't watched part 1 of the scenario creation, I suggest you do that. I'll make sure I link it in the description of the video if you haven't seen part 1 of the video. But if you're watching part 2, chances are you have already seen part 1, because it will be pretty stupid for you to watch part 2 but not watch part 1, which is showing obviously the setting up. So in this scenario we're going to pretty much carry on from what we started with. So as you're aware, we set up our train, which is service 1 at Beatrice, and obviously we set up the pop-up. We're going to change this now, so when it comes up with a pop-up menu, we're going to change this now. So this time all I'm saying is I'm going to say good morning driver. You are in charge of visiting Locomotive Beatrice. Okay, I'm just going to put number 7. Number 7, because I don't know how to spell the name. On a stopping passenger service for Eridge. First things first, when ready, make your way to TWW stop board 1, where we shall gain permission to connect to the coaching stock in Tunbridge Wells West platform. So we are. Good morning driver, you're in charge of visiting locomotive number 7 on a stopping passenger service for Eridge. First things first, when ready, make your way to Tunbridge Wells West stop board 1, where we shall gain permission to connect to the coaching stock in Tunbridge Wells West platform. That makes sense, that's informative. Obviously we have all of that. We did all this last time. And yeah, pick up passengers as well. So I haven't actually looked at the timetable for this particular event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the internet and try and find Spa Valley Railway Steam Up 2017 timetable. Now, whether this will still be around, I do not know. I'm going to hazard a guess, probably not, because it was quite a long while ago now. We have a Scottish Steam Up timetable which is there, but that's not the same. But I'm going to hazard a guess, they probably would be similar timings. So obviously we can't get the specific timetable we want. What I tend to do is to get a gala timetable from another event and try and copy one of the services. So what we'll do in this instance is we'll look at a service that I think is close to what we have. So this will, I'd imagine, be set A. So instead of making this scenario around 12 o'clock-ish, I'm going to make it around sort of 10:45-ish. Okay, so if we head over to our scenario marker now, and what we'll do is we'll change the time to... Let me just check the timetable again a minute. Yeah, about 11 o'clock. So we'll have it as 10... How about it's 10:55, because I'm sure that that would be enough time for us to get moving to our train. So we'll give this as 10:55 as well. Yeah, so as you can see, we've got to Tunbridge Wells West platform at 10:57. So what we'll do now is obviously I've deleted the end scenario because obviously we're actually going to head down the line now and I'll show you little hints and tips on how to add waypoints and basically set your path for Eridge as the player train. So what we'll do here now is we'll click on the people icon of Tunbridge Wells West to pick up passenger's instruction, and we're going to make sure that the departure time is bang on 11 o'clock. So how do we do this? Well, so you can see down here in this little box here, it says duration, or duration even. At the moment it's set to 35 seconds, which is, you know, wrong. So we're going to have to change this to around about 2 minutes. So we'll change it to 1:59. Okay, it hasn't given us 11 o'clock. I'm not the best at maths, guys, just going to point that out there. So it's going to be about 2:29. No? Okay, that's still not correct. 2:39? Yep, we're around 11 o'clock now. So we'll now reduce that to 36. So we're now going to be waiting, collecting passengers for 2 minutes. Supposedly. But technically we're not, because basically the game needs to register that this is a timetabled service for it to actually depart at the time that you wish it to depart at. So we can see all these different tick boxes here. We've obviously got allow reversing, because obviously we do allow reversing for our train, because, you know, we're going to be forward and reversing when we're doing our moves. We don't have any of these available for us. So we've also got handle off path, which, to be honest, I don't actually know what that is, so we're just going to ignore that. But the main thing that we're actually going to look at here is timetabled. So this little clock, we want to enable that. So now that our train is a timetabled service. So the train physically cannot depart Tunbridge Wells West until 11 o'clock. The pop-up will not come up until 11. So what we're going to do here is change the pop-up menu slightly by saying picking up passengers successful. I want to say our guard has given us the green flag right away for High Rocks. So we've got to be calling it High Rocks next. So now that we're all sorted and set up for departure, we're going to add our first... Okay, so there's no waypoint here. So what I'm going to do is, just to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to add a marker down here. So like what we did in the previous video, we're going to add a marker to the track. So we're going to add a marker siding down here, like so. Place it down there, and we're going to name this Tunbridge Wells Main. Okay, Tunbridge Wells Main. So now that we've placed a marker down in our timetable view, we'll select the waypoint icon, which is the little red flag, and we'll select Tunbridge Wells Main because we want to go via Tunbridge Wells Main. So that's exactly where our train's going to go. So as you can see now, it will be set to go via Tunbridge Wells Main. And then the next thing that we're going to want to do is do a pick up passengers instruction again at High Rocks. Like so. So now our train will be calling at High Rocks. So we're going to head over to the internet again and just have a look at the timetable itself and see what time it is actually meant to get to High Rocks. Although it has just occurred to me that this particular service that I'm actually looking at doesn't actually call at High Rocks Station. So in this case, we are going to go straight through High Rocks. I don't know if this is strictly to the timetable of the steam up of the event. I'm going to hazard a guess that High Rocks was probably a request stop during this gala event. So if this is the case, what we'll do then in that case is change this to Groombridge. So we'll be going straight through High Rocks. And believe it or not, we actually get to Groombridge at 11:14, just like the timetable. Which is good, that is good to know. Then we depart Groombridge at 11:16, so we'll want to make sure that we change this so it says 11:16. So okay, so it'll be about 1 minute to 3 seconds. No, 4 seconds. There we go. So now it will depart 11:16. We'll make sure that's timetabled, so we do indeed depart at that time. All aboard to Eridge. Now all aboard is more sort of American, so we'll go right away for Eridge. So these pop-ups, you don't have to do them all the time, but I like to do them. I know it's personal preference, like some people like to stop at stations and just like not have the pop-ups come up for like realism purposes, but me personally, I like to have the pop-ups just so we know when to depart in case, you know, somebody misses it or something, or someone's in a different viewpoint. So that's why I do those. I have noticed now that we're not obviously stopping at High Rocks. We're going to say right away for Groombridge. And at the start of the scenario, I will put, we will not be calling at High Rocks on this service. Okay. Now something I do have actually as well is I have a YouTube video up called Spa Valley Railway Summer. Now the question is, does this call at High Rocks? No, I can't tell because it's from Groombridge, funnily enough. Well, I'm going to do some research afterwards, but for now we'll get to the basics of how to get to a location. So now we're at Groombridge. We will need to pass a train within Groombridge Loop. Now, this is just bear in mind, AI traffic does not work from the Eridge to Tunbridge direction. You cannot physically get it to work properly. It just will not do it. Was from my experience anyway. So basically, a bit like most preserved railways, well, preserved railways in general in TS, the AI traffic only works in one direction, and just like those routes, this also only works in one direction. So say if you're operating a train from Eridge to Tunbridge Wells and you call into Groombridge Loop, you can have an AI train depart Groombridge and go past you up the Groombridge main track. And yeah, basically you can do it that way. But in the means of heading up towards Eridge from Tunbridge Wells, you can't really get them to move. Which, to be fair, is relatively realistic because, in all honesty, the up train to Eridge passes the down train in Groombridge Loop, and the up train doesn't stop in the loop; it actually goes straight past it. So we're all right in that regard. So we will place down the AI train as we approach Groombridge in a sec, but we'll just make sure we script our loco to do what it needs to do first. So obviously now that we're departing Groombridge, we want to set another waypoint because we want to set a waypoint for Groombridge Main. So you're going to want to set as many of these waypoints as possible. The trick is with scenario editing to place down as many waypoints and scripted, you know, checkpoints as it were, as possible. This is so that your player train or the AI train knows exactly where to go and what it's doing. You've got to treat it as if it was basically thick, like really, really dumb. It's a very limited scripted software, to be honest. You need to act as if this thing is dumb. You need to basically tell it to go down each line that you want it to go down. Because basically, if I was to set the route straight down to Eridge from Groombridge, the chances are it might actually take me via the Groombridge loop, which is wrong. we're going to want to be going via Groombridge Main. And obviously if it takes you down Groombridge Loop, you'll end up crashing into the train that's heading up towards Tunbridge Wells, which you don't want. So we'll set the waypoint and make sure that it is going via Groombridge Main, just so we know that we're going down the correct track towards Eridge. So once we've done this, we will then ensure that the train is heading into Eridge platform 2. Although actually it has just occurred to me, before we head into Eridge, at this point in time during 2017, the trains would have to stop at the stop board at Forge Farm. So what we want to do is add an instruction to stop at Forge Farm Crossing Stop, Eridge bound. So then that the train will stop, gain the green flag to proceed over the crossing and head towards Eridge, because they would have done this at this point. They don't actually do this anymore, but at this stage they would have done this. This is how they would have ran during 2017. So we'll put that in there. So what we'll do as well is make sure to remember to halt your train at the stop board before Forge Farm Crossing to gain the green flag to proceed to Eridge. There we go. We have the green flag from the crossing keeper right away for Eridge. There we go. So now we can tell it to go to Eridge platform. So Eridge platform 2 SVR, which is the main platform that the train will go into. We'll also have another loco waiting for us in Eridge platform 3, so we'll make sure that we do that as well. So Eridge platform 2, and then this is where we're going to add our end scenario instruction, which is the little door with the arrow, which is final destination. And we want to select Eridge platform 2 so we can end our scenario there. And basically what we'll say is, fantastic work today, driver. The class 31 situated in Eridge form 3 will now get ready to take the train back to Tunbridge Wells West. Scenario complete. There we go. And that's it. That is our player train all set up. So now that we've set up our player train, what we'll do is we'll start adding some stock. So I'm not going to add all the stock around Tunbridge Wells at the moment. I'll do that soonish. The first thing that I will do is obviously set the train up down at Groombridge. So we want to have a look and set up Ringhaw, which will be on the up train, or the down train even towards Tunbridge Wells. So what we'll do is head over to we'll press H, Hunslet Fitzwilliam, Ringhaw. So there we are. So we want to sit that around here. And for this, we want to head over to our object set filter here, which is the little blue cube with the triangle, because I actually need the Queen Mary brake van from Forth's games. Now, as you may be aware, the green brake van and the brake vans in general by Forth's games have now been discontinued temporarily from Steam Sound Supreme due to a little bit of an argument between the two developers. I believe these will be available again soon. I'm sure that Force Games have intention on making them available again soon, but for now, obviously they are not on sale, and we do apologise for that. It's out of our control, but obviously we have used them within the Spa Valley scenarios, and unfortunately if you haven't got it, then you haven't got it. There's not a lot we can do. But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll head over to Force Games. That's the wrong developer, and enable Southern Railway breakvans. So that should come under here. There we go. Olive green brake van, and we want to number it the correct number. So we'll head over to our YouTube video again and find out what number the brake van is. He says the footage is very, very blurry, so what I'll do in that case then is Spa Valley Railway, Queen Mary, find out what number that is. I accept. Can't actually see the number on it. Ah, okay, there we are. So it is 296, 56296. 56296. There we go. So that is now the correct number for the brake van.
Not good.
Also, shout out to Joseph Ralphan, who I'm currently using the references for. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got a Mark 1 SO, no, FO, I think that is. And another Mark 1 and the DMU. Okay. So we've done this before. So we want the AP Mark 1s again. Trouble with the FO green is it has the yellow line above it. That's no good. So we'll have to go with an SO. Or a TSO. Trouble is, it is an FO. That is the actual one that they use. Yeah, it is an FO in the video. I'm gonna have a look into that and perhaps do a reskin of the FO to have to not have a yellow line above it, because that would be pretty cool. We'll see as we go on, but for now we'll use the SO. And then a TSO in maroon. And then usually for the 101, as we don't really have anything at the moment that's decent or usable, I tend to use the Keighlin-Worth Valley Railway one, which is found under Steam Sound Supreme somewhere. Steam Sound Supreme, Keighlin-Worth Valley. Oh, actually no, it's under the 101, as it happens. British Rail 101. Oh, it's not. Hang on. Oh, I bet it's the Reggie Rail Class 101, isn't it? Right. Okay. RSC. Sorry about this, guys. Just trying to find the right DLC now. It'll be under Dovetail Games, won't it? DTG, DTG. Where are you? There we go. Where is the Class 101 then? Must be under RSC then, it's gotta be. Class 101 regional railways, there we go, sorted. So there we are. So we've now got our 101 stock. Let's find out what type of 101 it is. Okay, so it is a driving trailer. So that will be... No, that's not that one. So that'll be that one. Yep, there we go, that will do. I want to find the not in service thing. Oh, I've ruined it now. Okay, it'll have to be A, empty to depot. And we want to make sure it's dead as well. Make sure that this is dead whenever you're operating it in a consist. There we go. So that is near enough right to the video. Apart from obviously one of the coaches there. Okay, right, that'll do. So there we are. You got your ring whore there. There we go. So that can just sit there while we head up towards Eridge. So we won't... Oh yeah, so there is a few little bits and pieces in the siding here. So what I tend to do is I'll tend to just put a random mixed rake of wagons within here. Some of the old Coogee ones do perfectly fine because there is a load of like different wagons that are usually stored up here. Yeah, that'll do. That's you know, we don't have to go too mad on the means of stuffing staticking and sidings because you don't want to, you know, have too many requirements necessarily for this scenario. So there we go. I may alter this later on or something, you know, and we'll have a little mess around later. But what we will do is we'll put the 31 down at Eridge as well. Actually, what I will do as well is I'll enable the Caledonia Works luggage van pack and I'm sure we've got Coogee stuff ticked. I'm sure we do. Yeah, okay. So we're going to put the luggage van in here because there's always a luggage van in here usually, especially what there was in 2017 anyway. And then we want a TTA tank, black. There we go. And then we want the class 31, which we can get from RSC. Pack 02. This is technically 31289, but since we don't actually have a reskin of it at the moment, we're just going to use a standard blue one for now. So it's going to be masquerading as 31289. Need to check which way round 31289 was. 31289. Yeah, that is the correct way around. Yeah, so we want a reskin of 31289, but we'll have a look at that potentially in the future and see if we can make it. There we are. But anyway, so that's now sorted there. Be under service free. So what we will do as well is I think we'll add an AI train at Eridge for the mainline train. So what we'll do is we'll enable the Thompson class 170 pack, which should also enable the AP one, respectively. He says. Class 171, here we go. But I'm sure, do we have sets of class 171s? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, yep, well, we do. Oh, that's the default one though. We want to use the AP one. Okay, why are these not numbered? Okay, interesting. I need to get used to that. I need to have a look at the manual again for the AP class 171. But yeah, anyway, for now, we're going to put this all the way down here. And stick a driver icon on that. So what we want to do is ideally we want this 171 to stop in Eridge Station around about the time that we are approaching Eridge Station. So service 1, we depart Greenbridge at 11:16, okay? But get to Forge Farm crossing around 11:20. So what I'm going to do is make this depart 11:20, and we're going to get this to service 4, which is the 171, to call at Eridge platform 1. And we'll set that to kind of sit there for about 45 seconds before departing. And then we'll set the go via mainline portal 1 or well, stop at location mainline portal 1. There we go. So now we have our AI train on the main line, all ready and set up for use. So hopefully this says London, I hope, but we'll see when we head down into the scenario. So now that we've done all of that, I think it's time for us to test this scenario, don't you? So what we'll do is we'll press play and see how it goes. There we go. So, good morning, driver. You are in charge of visiting locomotive number 7 on a stopping passenger service for Eridge. First things first, when ready, make your way to Tunbridge Wells West stopboard 1, where we shall gain permission to connect to the coaching stock in Tunbridge Wells West platform. We will not be calling at high rocks on this service. Okay, so here we are in lovely Beatrice. We'll set our lamp to light engine, and we'll get ourselves moving. We'll open that to get a little bit of air in here because it's a hot day. Yep, our time's changed, brilliant. So, off we go. Our coal level's looking quite low. Well, we've got plenty in there though. Now that we've halted our locomotive at the stopboard, we can now reverse into the platform to connect to our coaching stock. There we go. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, close. There we are. Now that we are coupled, we can now load our passengers for the run to Eridge. Press T to open the doors and await the guard whistle for departure. Okay, so if we open the doors, you can now see that we are now loading, and this will not depart until 11 o'clock. Unfortunately, we do not have a window hanging camera because, we've got a guard's coach at the front, so. And there's Ugly over there. Right, what we'll do as well is we'll change our lamp while we're here, so that needs to be on the top bracket now. There we go. Get a nice photo there. Right, picked up passengers successful. Our guard has given us the green flag for the right of way down to Tunbridge. Rightio. Off we go then. We are all set to depart. I must admit, having here in Newstead in real life, the Hunslet sound set is actually really realistic. We should hit the 15 mile an hour mark in a moment. There we go. So we can now leave the train to do the work for us. All downhill from now. Can apply a little bit of power to get us up to 25. I bet it looks nice along this section of line. Oh, it does, doesn't it? Might have to try and get a screenshot of that. Oh, yeah, look at that. Very nice. High vis is ahead. Technically the whistle that is, well, recorded for the Hunslets from Ringhor isn't technically accurate for Beatrice. She has like quite a deeper whistle. Would be nice to have a custom whistle for this reskin, I must admit. So if anyone is wondering where the reskin is from, it's from Wayside Works, and I will link put their website in the description of the video if you're interested in getting hold of it. And I'll also obviously link the Spa Valley Railway in general within the description as well. But yeah, I hope this tutorial's been informative for you guys so far. This is, as I say, a new thing to do tutorials on the BLS channel. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more. We will continue to do a few little more bits and pieces on this sort of scenarios making on the Spa Valley Railway series. So obviously, as you've seen today, we've had a look at obviously setting the player train's locations. Obviously, you know, via waypoints and stopping at stations. We've also had a look at the AI traffic on the main line, Spa Valley. And we've also covered placing down markers as well, which is basically just like what we did in the previous video. If there's anything in particular that you have any queries or questions about that you would like me to cover in the means of scenario tutorials, please let me know in the comments as well, because I'll try and do a video to explain how to do certain things if you're struggling. But yeah, other than that, I hope you've enjoyed so far the scenario making tutorials on BLS. So we're going to shut off now because we're going to have to start slowing up for the 10 mile an hour temporary speed restriction on the bridge up ahead. Now, even though currently this is permanent on the Spa Valley Railway, the actual railway is raising funds to build a new bridge in place of this old one that we're going over now. So the reason that they have the 10 mile an hour speed restriction in place is due to a weakened structure. So unfortunately they cannot run their trains over it at the line speed. They used to be able to, but obviously we've had some decay and rot over the years. Quite interesting though, especially for galas, because they slow up down here and then usually you'll get some nice thrash as it hits the 25 mark again. So it's quite nice within that regard. Hit 25. We'll give it some full reg. A nice sound. We've got a yellow on the distance. Green ahead. start slowing down now from 10 mile an hour, limiting to Tunbridge Station. Workers on the line, give them a toot. Acknowledge. Doesn't coast very well, this thing, I must admit. Here we are arriving into Groombridge. Yeah, so usually we want to go past the signal. We've got a green signal anyway, so we'll go past it so we can fit our entirety of the train in. There we go, the train is in the platform as it should be. And as you can see, our point is set the correct way. So if we was to just go straight down to Eridge, chances are it would have put us into Ringhor and then we would have had a crash. But luckily, obviously because we set our waypoint, it has detected that we want to go down the other route, you know, away from the other train. Yes, we're not actually due to depart here until 11:16, so we're here for a little bit. So while we're here, should we take a little look around Groombridge? So Groombridge. There is a few little bits and pieces that we do actually want to do at some stage. For example, we would quite like to change the texture in underneath here where all the benches are to a more grass texture. The bridge is something perhaps that we could look at swapping out. I mean, it's fine for as it is now, but may get changed on a future date. And just other bits and pieces about Groombridge that we do actually want to change. So be prepared, lads and lasses, for potential updates around the Groombridge station at some point within the future. But you'll find that a lot of these routes that you make, they tend to never get finished. It's like building a model railway. Nothing's ever really finished. So you've always got something to add to it or something to change to it. It's like when, you know, as the years progress, the Spa Valley Railway might change. You know, it might be slightly different in 2026 or 2027. You just don't know. But as of when this route is based, it's sort of based between sort of 2019 to 2025. So anything above that, we'll just say, yeah, no, you know, that's not the era that the route is based on, and everyone will just have to take it like that. Yeah, something we did do is we replaced all of these distant trees for the West Somerset 2D trees instead of the Coogee ones, because they just look better, just gives it a bit more depth. So you can imagine the distant trees, right? So not all the Coogee trees are swapped out. The distant trees look like this. These really bright, limey kind of trees, and it just made everything look too bright. So having that has given it more depth and just made the overall route look a lot better than what it was. Ring whore over there waiting for us. Right, so we are pretty much ready to go now, so we'll just wait for the guard and we'll be on our way. Right away for Eridge. Make sure to remember to halt your train at the stop board before Forge Farm crossing to gain the green flag to proceed to Eridge. We will do that. Would help if I released the brakes first, wouldn't it? Silly me. Green. Now we're now in the 15 zone, so we can speed up slightly. So I'm going to remove that coach because that's annoying. You know, there's no steam coming through that, so yeah, we'll do a bit of messing about with that. Yeah, we've reached the 25 mark now, so we can get moving. Don't need a humongous amount of power because it's downhill. struggling here. We're only on 104 psi. What is going on with steam? Well, we're approaching Forge Farm now anyway, so... And now we wait for the green flag from the guard. Right away for Eridge, excellent. It's awfully sluggish, to be fair. Blimey, that brake is responsive, isn't it? Here we are arriving into Eridge. Yeah, we stopped okay there. Right, we'll open the doors. Oh, this could be a good chance for me to get a nice photograph here. Look at that. Number 7, Beatrice. Try and get some interesting angles here. But there we are, guys. So that is it, really. We just did a run all the way from Tunbridge Wells to Eridge. So as you can see, that was how to path a player train down to your desired location. And also a couple of little bits and pieces to do with AI. But we will cover that in another video properly and thoroughly at some stage. As I said earlier, if you've got any questions or anything that you would like me to cover within one of these scenario tutorial videos, please let me know in the comments. And also, I hope this has been helpful to you guys. And yeah, enjoy the Spa Valley Railway route. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye for now.